How Dollar General makes billions from cheap products. Imagine walking into a store where almost everything looks cheap: snacks, cleaning supplies, batteries, toiletries, household items, school supplies. You might look at the prices and wonder, how can a company make billions selling products that cost only a few dollars? That is exactly what makes Dollar General so interesting. The company didn't build its business by selling expensive products. It built a giant retail empire by doing something much simpler: making everyday shopping cheap, convenient, and easy. And once you understand how the model works, Dollar General starts to look very different. Dollar General began in the 1930s as a small retail business in Kentucky. Over the decades, it evolved into one of America's best-known discount retailers. Today, its stores can be found across thousands of communities in the United States. But here's the interesting part. Dollar General doesn't try to become another Walmart. Instead, it focuses on a different kind of shopping experience, and that's where the money starts. The first secret: small stores. Walk into a typical Dollar General and you'll notice something immediately. It's much smaller than a giant superstore. That isn't an accident. Smaller stores generally require less space, fewer employees, and less inventory than massive supermarkets or warehouse-style retailers. Instead of trying to sell customers everything they could possibly need, Dollar General focuses on many of the things people need regularly: a gallon of milk, a snack, laundry detergent, toilet paper, a birthday card, batteries, a quick household item. This creates an important advantage. Customers don't necessarily need to spend an hour shopping. They can walk in, grab a few things, pay, and leave. And when a store is nearby, convenience can be just as important as price. The second secret: small purchases add up. Here's where the business model gets interesting. Imagine a customer walks into a store planning to buy only one item, but while walking through the aisles, they see a snack, then a drink, then a cleaning product, then something they suddenly realize they need at home. One small purchase becomes several, and Dollar General doesn't need every customer to spend hundreds of dollars. It needs millions of customers making smaller purchases repeatedly. That's an important retail lesson. Small transactions can become enormous revenue when they happen at massive scale. Think about it. If thousands of stores each serve hundreds of customers every day, even relatively small shopping trips can add up to huge sales over time. The third secret: location. Dollar General's locations are another major part of the strategy. The company has historically focused heavily on smaller communities and areas where large retailers may not be as convenient. Instead of forcing customers to drive a long distance to a huge shopping center, a smaller store can be located much closer to where people live. And convenience has value. A customer might drive 20 minutes to a large supermarket for a major weekly shopping trip, but they may not want to make that trip just to buy batteries, snacks, soap, or a few household items. That's where a nearby discount store can win. The store doesn't have to be the biggest, it just has to be convenient enough for customers to keep coming back. The fourth secret: buying cheap. Now we get to the heart of the business. Dollar General wants to purchase products at attractive costs and sell them to customers at prices that still feel inexpensive. The difference between what the company pays suppliers and what customers pay at the register helps create its gross profit. But there is a challenge. If you're selling inexpensive products, you can't simply depend on huge profit from each individual item. You need volume. Lots of products, lots of stores, lots of customers, and lots of transactions. That's why scale matters so much. The bigger the retail network becomes, the more powerful purchasing and distribution can potentially become. The fifth secret: private brands. Another important retail strategy is private label merchandise. Instead of always selling products from famous national brands, retailers can offer products under their own or exclusive brands. Why does that matter? Because private brands can give retailers more control over pricing and product selection. Customers may see a familiar national brand sitting next to a less expensive store brand. If the cheaper option seems good enough, many shoppers may choose it. For the retailer, that can create another way to compete on price while maintaining attractive economics. But there's a catch. Dollar General's model isn't magic. Selling cheap products comes with serious challenges. The company has to manage thousands of stores, employees, suppliers, transportation, inventory, rent, and operating costs. Even a small mistake can become expensive when you're operating at enormous scale. If a product doesn't sell, it takes up valuable shelf space. If stores aren't stocked properly, customers may leave without buying what they came for. If operating costs rise, low price retail becomes harder. And if competitors offer similar products at attractive prices, the pressure increases. So the same scale that creates opportunity also creates complexity. Why customers keep coming back. The biggest lesson may not actually be about cheap products. It's about habit. A customer who knows there's a convenient discount store nearby may automatically think of it when they need something quickly. That's powerful because businesses don't only compete for money, they compete for attention and habits. If a store becomes part of someone's regular routine, that customer can potentially return again and again. And repeated behavior is incredibly valuable in retail. The bigger business lesson. So, how does Dollar General make billions from products that often cost only a few dollars? The answer isn't one secret product, it's the entire system. Small stores, convenient locations, low priced everyday products, large purchasing volume, private label merchandise, frequent customer visits, and most importantly, scale. Dollar General doesn't need every customer to spend a fortune. It needs millions of ordinary shopping decisions to happen over and over again. That's the genius of the model. A few dollars may not seem like much, but multiply those few dollars by millions of transactions, thousands of locations, and years of shopping, and suddenly the numbers become enormous. And that's the lesson hidden behind one of America's most recognizable discount stores. You don't always need expensive products to build a huge business. Sometimes the biggest opportunity is selling things people need at prices they can afford in places where they can easily find you. And that's how Dollar General turned cheap products into a massive retail business.